Welcome, JT here. Thanks a bunch for joining me. Today I want to talk about a product I discovered about 6 months ago that's really brought some significant improvements in my life. It is the Theragun by Therabody, and I'm going to be defining 5 groups of people that I believe will discover this to be one of the best investments that you'll make in your quality of life. Are you ready? Let's get started.
I see something, it's coming up on the horizon. Oh, let me clear my head and get rid of the distractions. Oh, I was down when I saw you in the clouds. Out of phase, filled with doubt. I was drifting in and out, levitate, fade away. I had left full time and space, but you just caught my eye. Hey, nah, please won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, delve into emotion. Leave us in this moment. Won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, delve into emotion. Leave us in this moment.
Those of you who've seen my Aura Ring review know that I have difficulty sleeping. It's been an issue for years, and it often stems from muscle pain and stiffness. And as a result, I've tried a variety of massaging products and techniques over the years with various levels of success and failure. It started with me deciding that I was desperate enough that I would buy one of those high-end massage chairs for around $5,000. Those are expensive, really big, bulky, and heavy, and it took 4 guys to get it into the second floor of my house. But within a year, it had broken. It was still under warranty, so the manufacturer replaced the whole moving mechanism, but then a year later it was broken again, and then it was no longer under warranty, and then I had a $5,000 paperweight, big, heavy, bulky paperweight on my hands. That was a very frustrating experience. I had high hopes and expectations for that investment, and it just proved to not be very effective. Now, that's not to say that all of those types of massage chairs will be that way. This was a pretty significant and high-end brand, and I thought I was making a good solid investment. I also tried one of these large professional two-handed massagers that are often used by massage therapists and chiropractors. That had a bit of success, but it required a second person. Somebody basically had to use it on you, and so my wife and I tried that with one another, and it didn't seem to produce a whole lot of benefit for us, and so it's set mostly unused. We'll periodically pick it up if someone's having some low back pain or something like that. And then I've tried some of those cheap $20, $30, $40 massagers you can get at any department store with all the attachments, and they give a real high-pitched massage, and they just really don't do much of anything. Well, about 6 months ago, I was hearing a lot about percussive therapy, and the Theragun is one of the products in that market. So these percussive therapy massagers will provide deep tissue massaging, which pumps blood into those muscles it massages them, will release histamine into those muscles that will help with the healing process. It will help dissipate lactic acids. If you're working out and you want to recover quickly for your next workout, percussive therapy is a really effective solution. And athletes and those involved in health and fitness have found this to be an incredibly successful tool. And I believe that there are 5 different groups of people who will find this to be a very good investment in your quality of life. The first is athletes. Second of all, those involved in health and fitness, just general going to the gym, working out at home or wherever on a regular basis. Third, those who have physically demanding jobs you get done at the end of the day and you're just in pain. Fourth, anyone who has pain, muscle pain and stiffness. And then finally, those who have sleep issues, insomnia and such. Now, there are a variety of products on the market. I did a deep dive. As a researcher, my tendency is when I want to make a purchase, I'll go and do research, read all the specifications. I've been an engineer before, so I can read the blueprints and the specs and understand how that works. And then also, I'm just an attention to detail kind of person, so I'll go out and read lots of professional reviews, user reviews, go out on forums and read the discussions and find out which products really work, which ones are delivering on their promises, and which ones are just wannabes. After that research process, I landed on the Theragun, and Therabody has 4 Theragun models: the Theragun Mini for $199, the Theragun Prime for $299, the Theragun Elite, which is what I chose, for $399, and the Theragun Pro for $599. After I read a lot of research on these, I decided that the Elite version gave me the most bang for my buck. Now, you're probably having a bit of a reaction for the price sticker there, $399 for a massager. If you compare that to most other massaging products on the market, that's going to seem outrageous. But what I encourage you to do is to compare this instead to going to a massage therapist. Because if you go to a typical massage therapist, you're going to be paying $50, $100, $150 per session. And I've been using this for 6 months daily, both my wife and I, and it's just rugged and durable. And the nice thing about it is I can use this anytime, day or night, by myself. So if I'm not sleeping, if I've had a workout, my wife and I often do workouts together in the evenings, and at the end, I like to use this to help my muscles recover and to be able to sleep soundly. And you just can't get that kind of bang for your buck by going to a massage therapist constantly. So when you compare a product like this to going to a professional masseuse, and I believe you'll find that the experience between this kind of percussive therapy device and a massage therapist are going to be pretty similar. You're going to feel this. The first time you start using it, it's going to be painful. It takes some adjusting. Now, this one comes with a variety of different types of adapters, and some are softer than the others. I've found, my wife and I both have found this soft foam one to be our favorite, and we don't even ever change. This just meets all of our needs really well. But even with a soft tip, for the uninitiated, it can be a painful process. So you have to approach it very gently, hold it lightly, and work your way into it. Now that we've been doing it for months, it's not a problem at all. We're used to it, we pick it up, and we begin seeing positive results very quickly. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it looked a bit strange, a little dorky looking compared to some of the others that might look more aesthetically pleasing. But the more I thought about it, this is a tool that I'm going to be using on myself, and particularly a lot in my back area. And this has proven to be very helpful to be able to grab this in a variety of ways to get it to the exact spot that I want. And with this triangular shaped handle, I've been able to get this to any muscle on my body and to be able to put it on that spot and hold it without a lot of difficulty. And when I looked at some of the others that are more of a T-shaped, I just thought that I would have difficulty holding that in place on the muscle that I was having to treat. I found this to be an incredibly valuable resource. Both my wife and I use this on a daily basis. I keep it on my nightstand because if I have difficulty falling asleep, my back is hurting or some muscles are stiff, I can pull this out within a few minutes. I can massage it, relieve the pain, and be able to go back to sleep. And it's difficult to put a price tag on that because you just can't replace this with hardly anything else with that kind of impact. I recommend you consider, if you fall into one of those 5 groups, consider this. Do some research on it if you're a researcher like me, or take my word as someone who did research. I find this to be an incredibly valuable resource. Use it every day. I gotta have it. I can't live without it. I want to interject a personal humorous story here that goes back to 1993 for those of you that were alive back then. I signed up to ride the MS-150, a biking event, riding 150 miles to benefit the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. And the event basically constituted riding 80 miles the first day, sleeping in a sleeping bag outside overnight, and then riding the remaining 70 miles the following day. Well, I was an avid bodybuilder at the time, and so I was preparing for an amateur bodybuilding competition up in Kansas City. And so, as one does in preparation for bodybuilding, you cut your body fat down extremely in the days leading up. And so I cut my body fat down to below 3%. And I thought I was in great shape, and I generally was in good shape, but I didn't realize I was really putting myself at risk by having such low energy reserves and preparing for a 150-mile biking event. Well, the first day went by without a lot of incident. It was difficult. By the end of the day, I was completely exhausted, just totally spent of energy. And then they had us sleep on concrete slabs in our sleeping bags overnight. And it was so uncomfortable that I hardly slept at all. I so wish I would have had one of these back then. It would have made a massive difference. So I didn't hardly sleep at all. I woke up and I was in serious pain from the 80-mile bike ride before, sleeping on the concrete. And then for breakfast, there were thousands of riders in this event, but for breakfast they served pancakes and syrup. And I hadn't brought anything else, so I reluctantly ate the pancakes and syrup. And so I then start out the ride for the next 70 miles, and I find that I'm really struggling. And we had been notified by the event coordinator that around the 120-mile mark, there was this notoriously difficult hill, a steep incline about 3 miles long. They gave it some scary name. Sure enough, by the time I get about halfway up this hill, I'm just completely spent, and the headwind is so strong. I look over and the grass is almost laying down, and it felt like if I stopped pedaling, I would just fall over. It's like all of my energy was being expended just to counter the headwind. And as I'm in this state, just struggling, bodybuilder guy on a bicycle, and I was riding a mountain bike with big knobby tires, which wasn't a good idea, but I thought I was in great shape and could handle it. And as I'm just struggling to make each stroke, trying to get up this hill, I suddenly see someone pass me on the left side, and I look over, and it's this old gray-haired lady, this grandma, riding one of these upright bikes with the wide handles and a basket across the front, and she's just leisurely going on a stroll and just blowing past me. That was one of the most humiliating moments of my life. And I look back at that and think, had I had something like this back then, it could have made a massive difference. Well, I hope you enjoyed a laugh at my expense there. You'll find a link to this model in the program description. Also on our website, GottaHaveIt.tv, you'll find a variety of helpful information and resources. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we do a lot of product giveaways. We did one last week. We gave away an auto knife, and we have many others upcoming. In order to qualify for one of those product giveaways, you have to be a subscriber, so go ahead and click that subscribe button now. Well, I hope this has been helpful, insightful, or at least amusing. Hey, until next time, spread the love.